Good morning and happy Monday. Today's the day. Start my bodybuilding training, my bodybuilding diet. I got both of those things over the weekend, and today's the day to start both of them. So yeah, right out the gate, lots of differences. For strongman or powerlifting, whatever strength pursuit that I was in, I was eating 2 meals a day. And those are the ones that I've been posting up on YouTube. There was a third one that I still need to do, but given the meal plan that I'm on right now, it might be a little bit before I can film that one and go through it. But yeah, 2 meals a day, real simple. Bring one of them to work and then eat the other one after training. There's certain, snack items, yogurt and stuff that I would have with lunch. A protein shake once a day, and that was pretty much my entire diet. Trying to think. Yeah, protein shake with dinner, yogurt with lunch, and otherwise just those 2 meals, and that was my whole thing. So now it's listed as 5 meals. Yeah, 5 meals is about accurate. There's a few things in the meal plan under meals, like pre and post workout meals, that aren't really meals. They're shakes. They're protein shakes or intra workout shakes and stuff like that. Those aren't really meals, but they're also not counted numerically. So yeah, it is 5 meals a day that he's got me doing. So logistically, that's where things are the most complicated. With 2 meals a day, I cook 6 days of food, and that's 12 meal prep containers. With 5 meals a day, to do the same thing would be obviously significantly more containers. So what I'm going to end up doing, and I haven't done it yet because I'm still waiting for stuff to come in from Amazon, but I'm going to get some very large containers and I'm going to put bulk meal prep items in them. So have a giant container full of chicken, a giant container full of steak, a giant container full of potatoes, another one for sweet potatoes, another one for, just the random vegetables, because those aren't dictated, just the amounts. And then rather than having all of the meals packaged up all the time, I will be, every night before I go to bed, I will do just the meals containers for the next day. That way I don't have, I don't even want to do the math. So 5 meals that require containers over the course of 7 days would be, 35 containers, which is just, I don't have the storage space for that. I don't have that many containers. So that just logistically would not work. So that's what we're going to do going forward, and all that Amazon stuff should get in today, so I'll use all of those for the meal prep this weekend. And that's things on the nutrition side. It's not anything super crazy exciting, but it's not going to be super difficult either. There's not really any sweets in there, which obviously, for anyone that knows me, that's pretty rough. But there's plenty of stuff in there that tastes good. And I'm able to season the chicken and steak, however I see fit. So that does make things a little easier. This phase of the diet will only go a couple weeks, and then we'll move on to the next phase, which will involve like cheat meals and stuff. And the diet itself probably won't change very much, but there will be a weekly cheat meal in there, which then allows me, to kind of get back to a bit of not normal. It's not going to be normal, but it'll allow me to get that enjoyment in there. Date nights and parties and whatever else that can be one of the cheat meals that I'm doing. And I think eventually there will be 2 while I'm bulking. Obviously, in cutting, there'll probably be fewer, or there'll be constraints on them. Not entirely sure yet. That's how I've done it in strongman. Is either the cheat meals start to have constraints, or they're less frequent. And then obviously when it's prep for stepping on stage, which would be in a little over a year. Well, the prep will probably start in about a year, or maybe slightly less than a year. then there's no cheat meals, and there's no deviation, and there's no, the way Jake put it, no variables. But yeah, so diet, feeling good about it, excited to start it. I don't see it being a big challenge other than the logistics, but with for anyone that's done this sort of thing before, and I don't mean bodybuilding, I just mean, going on a regimented diet where things are, fairly strict and consistent, you'll know that the hardest part is the beginning, because I had my routine with my diet before. I had all my equipment for it, and I could do my meal prep for strongman in my sleep because I've done it so many times and for so long. And the sequence of preparing everything is so dialed in that it's both quick and easy. With this, everything's brand new. So until I've done it a few times, I'm gonna have to be checking my phone to remind myself what goes with what and what the amounts are. And I might not do things like, that they'll get to a point where I can have one thing cooking while I'm prepping the next thing and getting that thing going. And the time that each thing takes will allow me to sequence everything in a way that's very efficient. I don't have that right now because it's all still unfamiliar. So the first couple times I do it, it's gonna be slow, it's gonna be arduous, there will be mistakes. I might overcook something, and then for that week it's not going to taste as good, type of deal. Dialing in what spices I want to use will take some time. So the first couple times it's going to be a little painful. Once I've done it a couple times, I'll start to have my process dialed in. I'll start to know what the best sequence is, what the best days and times are to do different things, because I'm not going to be, things like rice. I'm not going to cook it fresh every night because that'll just take too much time that I don't have. But it's not going to be making rice for the entire week necessarily. I might do it Sunday with the meal prep, but then do another little bit on like Wednesday or Thursday to get through the rest of the week. I might not store an entire week's worth of potatoes, but that's easy to dice up and throw in the crock pot. I could leave it cooking on a low temperature overnight and then just throw it in the giant container in the morning. So it won't necessarily be one meal prep for the entire week, but I'll find a sequence that works. And I don't even know, obviously, what that looks like yet. If I did, I'd already be doing it. But once I have that sequence down and it's like a well-oiled machine, this whole thing gets way easier. So the beginning is where things are tough. Training. I have my training program. I haven't even seen the whole thing yet. Obviously, I've looked at today's workout because I want to know what I'm doing today. And it's going to be interesting. Definitely a much different cadence. He's got the workouts programmed with specific rest periods. There's a lot of supersets. I'm not a stranger to limited rest. I'm not a stranger to supersets. But just the way that it's structured and the way that he has it done, it is going to be a bit of a gut check. And I had a call with him last night, and he says that the goal early on is just to get through the workout. With the time constraints and with all that stuff, there's a lot of volume, which it's not, he told me it was going to be a lot of volume, and so I expected more, but it is still more volume than I do normally. So there will be an adjustment there, and we're just going to see what all these movements, how they work and how I feel with them, and that's another thing that over time will dial in. There might be some hypertrophic movements that I'm a big fan of that are not in the program that I might, end up requesting to have added in, and it'll be a discussion and we'll figure it out. But from what I've seen so far, I peeked at a couple other days, not like thoroughly, but just as I was falling asleep last night, I just opened them up and to see like what movements they are and if I'm familiar with all of it and everything. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a discussion last night about how this is all going to go and what, setting expectations and stuff. And he's telling me that, I might be in one weight class or another weight class. And I was like, I thought it was based on height. You know, I've been following Sam Sulek recently, who did his classic physique debut and then got his pro card 2 weeks later, which is crazy impressive. But he's talking about the process and talking about, oh, you know, for my height, this is my maximum weight. I've seen videos with like Larry Wheels getting ready for his debut, and again, you know, based on his height, he had a certain weight he had to meet. So like, I didn't think there were weight classes. This is confusing to me. And so I mentioned it. And he's like, well, the height to weight relationship, as far as weight limits, is for classic physique. And I was like, well, am I not doing classic physique? And so basically, based on the muscle mass I already have from strongman training, as well as the muscle mass we're going to have to add in specific areas to get me the right shape for bodybuilding, because I mean, I think everybody knows, whether you're involved or not, I already knew long before I got involved, that bodybuilding has a specific shape, especially depending on what category you're in. So physique is with the board shorts. They don't really do anything with their legs. And so they're smaller, and they have a different frame than the classic physique guys. The classic physique is with the like Speedo looking posing trunks that obviously show your legs and your glutes and everything, and that's a full body thing, and there's a certain shape and look to that. And then there's open bodybuilding, which is basically the same shape as classic physique without an emphasis on the small waist, but everything's just bigger. You know, open bodybuilding, there's a lot of just sheer size component to it. So basically, with the muscle mass I already have, as well as the muscle mass I'm going to have to add to these certain areas to get the shape, because the shape of a strongman and the shape of a bodybuilder are different. And I'm going to have to add, you know, stack on muscle mass to these certain areas to make the look complete. He said by the time we get done adding the muscle where it needs to be, in addition to the muscle you already have, it might not be possible to get small enough to do classic physique. So classic physique is what I want to do, but if it's not possible, it's not possible. And we're not really committed to that yet. We're going to do we're going to start going through the prep and the posing and the you know, targeted workouts for classic physique. But when the time comes, you know, and I get to a certain weight, and a certain leanness, we can kind of start, you know, plugging in the numbers and making the calculations and projections. If it's not possible for me to get, or not if it's not possible, but if it's not, you know, if the likelihood of failure is too high based on what weight I'd have to lose, how lean I'd have to get, etc., to where not open, but classic physique doesn't make sense, then I'm going to have to do my bodybuilding debut in open bodybuilding, which is a little intimidating, and it's not what I was expecting. It's not what my plan was, but it is a little bit of an ego boost to be like, yeah, classic physique, you might not be able to get that small by the time we're done. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be an interesting journey. It's gonna be an interesting learning experience, especially early on as we go through this. We're gonna start learning posing as well, which is going to be incredibly foreign. But if you want to see how this is all gonna go, I'll, you know, get a little bit of the meals, what I'm eating and stuff in there as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't get into my lane. And yeah, there'll be more of this stuff as we go. The more I learn, the more things that come up, the more they'll be discussed. Because obviously, the whole point that I started this channel, maybe it's not obvious, but the whole point that reason I started this channel is to kind of document and hopefully in an entertaining way the journey and the difference between pro strongman and now bodybuilding. So more to come.